Hey, this is the Real Deal on the Money coming to you again for another episode. If you don't know why I called myself that, my name is actually Gabriel O'Sullivan. Imagine that. My name is not truly the Real Deal on the Money. Although that would be kind of cool. It'd be like I was a NBA star or, one of those guys from the XFL that changed his name. But maybe I'll do that, but not today. So, Gabriel O'Sullivan, if you don't know why I call myself that, go back to episode 1. Make sure you watch it. This show is for men who are maybe going through some difficult times in life or have in the past, or maybe just because you're probably going to be going through some challenging times, to help us to overcome those difficult times and challenges by being an encouragement to one another. So that's why we're here. That's what we're doing. Today, we're going to be discussing a little topic called, is it fair that I've had to suffer? I think about that. Is it fair? Everything's got to be fair these days, it seems like. And that's just a bunch of bull because life is just not fair. I mean, we got this everlasting battle. Keep making these Rocky references here. Was it really fair that Apollo was going to go up against Rocky? Man, that wasn't fair at all. Rocky had no shot. Apollo in the first movie, he had every right and reason to just destroy Rocky. It wasn't fair. He was a professional boxer. All that Rocky had going for him was obviously the grit, to make it through. But so what about you? Do you have the grit to make it through? I think that you do, but I just need you to understand that because it don't matter if I think that you do, you got to think that you do. So is it fair that you would be suffering and going through difficult times in life? Like, are you mad at God because of stuff that you've suffered or that you might be dealing with right now or that you might deal with in the future? I hope not. I think about back to basketball or back to football. I only played in middle school and high school. I wasn't good enough to play in college except with my buddies out on the street or something. But when we're in athletics, there's this conditioning season that we have to go through that's really awful. And I just remember thinking how unfair it was that my coach, I'm going to go back to middle school now, that my middle school coach was making us run all these sprints. And it's August in South Carolina, and it's hot. And man, we've already practiced, for an hour and a half, and now he's making us line up and run these 100-yard sprints or these 50-yard sprints or whatever the case may be. And he's just standing over there with his playbook tucked inside the front of his pants, just watching us. He's over there drinking, squirting water, in his mouth, and we're just over here struggling. And I just thought, man, this isn't fair. This is awful. And then I get to high school and kind of same situation. It's October. It's still hot in South Carolina in October. And our basketball coach has us out on the football field, now on the track, like running, all these sprints and these shuttle drills and do these jumping drills and running 400s and 100s and 200s. And man, it was awful. It was so terrible. It was hot and miserable and humid and we're out there just suffering and struggling. I'm like, this isn't fair. Like, we're basketball players. What's he got us out here doing all this stuff on the football field, on the track for anyway? And then, we get into the preseason where we're starting to practice and get ready for the season. And, what are we doing then? Well, we're practicing and running hard and doing our drills. And then at the end, when we're all dead tired, he's like, all right, line up for 32s. That was his word for the old term we used to call suicides. He called them 32s, and that's where you'd start at the baseline, touch the foul line, back to the baseline, then back to half court, back to the baseline, back to the other foul line, back to the baseline, then all the way back to the other baseline, then back to the baseline. You had to run that in 32 seconds or under, and if we didn't do it, then the whole team got added another 32 to do, and so he would have a set amount that we had to do. And if we didn't make it in that, then everybody had to run more until we got them all into 32. And I remember thinking, this is awful. This isn't fair. But when we got to the end of games, and when we got later into the season, the fact that we had done all of this conditioning really helped us for the end of the games and for the fourth quarter because we were able to push through. Where other teams might be getting tired, man, we're just catching our second wind. Right, pushing through to the end of that game was just like us trying to push through those 32s or push through those 100-yard sprints at the end of football practice. And so what it seemed like was not fair, what seemed like it wasn't fair, we realized, man, this was actually for our good. It seemed like it was for our bad, but it was actually for our good. And so I want you to think about that as you go through the challenges that you're facing right now. Maybe it's some type of loss. Maybe it's some kind of struggle mentally, or maybe it's a challenge that you're facing with your spouse or with your job or with a family member, with a friend, or with a health concern. Just remember that these difficulties of life, they may not seem fair, but we can choose to look at them a different way and realize, you know what? This difficult time in life is helping to make me better. So we're going to just, as Jocko Willink would say, embrace the suck, get through it, and realize we're going to be better and stronger on the other side. Remember, you're created for a purpose and on a purpose. Let's not let the struggles of life keep us down. Let's use them, let's learn from them, and let's become better men. Thank you, and I'll look forward to joining you next time.